So one of our friends a long time ago said, weddings are just music videos for people that have never done a music video.
Yeah.
And once she said that, I was like, oh my God, she's actually right. Because like, you are the star of the show. You are going to be in hair and wardrobe. You're going to be starving because you haven't like really eaten, and it's all about you. But at the end, you're like, can we not have it all be about me? I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had already done music videos enough to be like, all right, I know what to expect.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex, and I am back with another Dry Diaries entry. Today I have one of my best friends, Carly, and husband now, Phillip.
Yeah, I've upgraded.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just in Europe for Carly and Phillip's wedding, which was really fun, and we will get into that. But Carly is my longest friend I've known in LA, which is crazy.
It's like dog years.
Yeah.
In
Wait,
LA?
tell them how we met.
I don't even really remember the exact way, but I just remember when we were still dancing, we were at the Old Millennium, and you like let me use some of your makeup before a class. And I was like, oh, she knows a lot about makeup. I don't know anything. And then I don't even know how. We just kept seeing each other.
Yeah, I think we just kept seeing each other and then hanging out. But I just remember you're like, your makeup bag is so big.
Yeah, I was like, I know how to put on mascara.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Wow.
Yeah, so Carly is a dancer, musician. She also does social media marketing.
Yes.
And yes. And then Phillip does tech sound engineer. Right?
I don't. Sure.
You can give your intro because it's too complicated and beyond me.
I spent a long time as well. I'm a Grammy-nominated guitarist, and I've done a lot of touring and playing live and working on people's music. But then I went on to work in the tech world with game companies like Naughty Dog, Wonderstorm, currently with Meta. But I also do live streaming and content creation on the outside.
Yeah, isn't it gaming?
Yeah, it's mostly gaming, music, and then I'll occasionally sprinkle in some things about life that upset people. So that's fine. Yeah.
But really, I just watch him throughout the day going into the metaverse, talking to like 5-year-olds because all the kids are in there and they're like, wow.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, what are you doing over there?
With the goggles?
Yeah, I use the VR
Oculus.
headset.
Like one of his things, one of his like daily tasks I remember was he had to go in and check out like Sabrina Carpenter's metaverse concert, and I was like, let me see those goggles. I put out the Oculus and I was like, oh wow, she's really big. Is it supposed to be
I was
that?
like, this is so terrible. Random kids would run up to me and they'd be like I love Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm like, that's great, kid. I'm just trying to make sure this place works.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, like run up to you in the metaverse?
Yeah, well, they just
Yeah,
run up to
'cause
each other and they'll just say random stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, can I cuss?
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Random shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes into the game to like, or whatever, the metaverse, to make sure that everything is sounding properly. Like if there's like a boop, like he has to make sure that it's working.
Okay.
But I think the metaverse is live.
Yeah, it's
So
Horizon
people
Worlds. It's
still-
a game. Yeah.
Kids mostly like bopping around.
Yeah. But
What's
they're all
the
using the
movie
parents'
that
account.
it's everyone in the metaverse? Everyone puts on
Ready Player
goggles,
One.
Oh, I love that movie.
right? And
Yeah.
and like the real world that they're in is like completely
Trashed.
destroyed.
Yeah.
And so everyone puts it on and they live in like trailer bunkers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was they were all trying to like compete to get the fortune at the end.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
movie. The
That's
book's
what I think about.
even better.
Oh, I didn't know it was a book.
Yeah, it was a book first.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, wait, isn't the girl from Game of Thrones the main character? The side.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember any actors in it,
Well,
actually.
anyway, I'm pretty sure that's the main character.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a pretty old movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't do that to
right.
me. Don't. I remember when it was so big.
It was in college, no?
No, it was after college.
Oh.
God, don't do that to me.
Right.
I'm
but
so
like
old.
if they were making that then and now it's just happening.
Yeah,
Well,
it's,
I
kinda
still-
Scary.
Well,
Yeah.
to me.
No. I mean, it's not scary to me yet because it still looks like a busted version of it. It's like we literally just put legs in the metaverse like not even a year ago.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just like there are moments where it's just like, wow, here's going to be this new thing. But I think the thing that makes it so difficult is there's such a high point of entry. So it's like in Ready Player One, everyone just had goggles, everyone just had a thing. But you still have to, like, what it was a couple of years ago is you had to have a strong PC. You had to have the goggles, which cost $1,000.
It's going to be so much money for
And
people
people
that want to do it.
Right.
Even the Oculus. Like, how much was the brand new Oculus? Like $1,500?
No, well, that was the Pro. The new one is like 300.
Oh.
Not sponsored. I just work for them. But no, that's the thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to make the point of entry so low so everybody could have one. But it's hard to do that at a high level of fidelity like that.
Right.
Yeah, because then you'd have to, if you want something really mind-blowing, it's going to cost thousands.
When do you think it's going to get there?
Oh, I'd say like
A decade.
yeah, 10 between 10 to 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because the hardware is just putting it all in a thing that's compact is, it's a stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah, then our AI overlords will come and take care of us, so it's fine.
I can't. Perfect.
Do you want to add anything to your intro?
That was my intro.
My intro. Yeah, I moved out to LA to sing and write. I've been on a bunch of different tracks with DJs. I've had releases under Armada. And yeah, I've like danced professionally, and God, I'm so bad at this. I dance professionally, dance for artists like Kanye. And then yeah, I've just taken on social media marketing, and it's my thing now.
Wow. And Phillip, you were a musician for artists.
Yes.
Can you tell us a few?
I've worked with Justin Bieber, Kendrick Lamar. That's the Grammy nomination was with Good Kid, Mad City on Kendrick. Backstreet Boys, Randy Jackson, if anybody remembers him. The band Perry, Tao Cruz, Talib Kweli.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nelly. I worked with Nelly way back when. All my millennials, shout out.
What is it? Country Grammar? Is that Nelly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odom.
Leslie Odom Jr.
You didn't even know who he was at first.
No, I had no clue.
He's really big in the Broadway scene.
Yeah, super nice. He's probably one of the nicest actors I've ever worked with who can flip it on an instant. Like we'll be hanging out and they're like, okay, we're gonna shoot in like 3, 2, and you see him like manifest this like actor, strong, bold presence, and it's just like out of nowhere. But yeah, I don't know. I forget my resume sometimes. But
I've a pretty sharp resume.
Yeah.
So
Julia Michaels,
love her.
Yeah. Did I say Tao Cruz?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. I'm starting to repeat myself. But yeah, and then a bunch of other artists in LA, like, mom and dad have too much money, so they just hire a band for some rich kid.
Yeah.
Which those actually pay more, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I could believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Labels
Like anything to make him sound good.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't.
Feel like, what's your price? I'm like, probably way more than I should be getting paid right now.
Right.
But
yeah.
Okay. Before we get started, we're just going to do a little icebreaker.
okay.
And just so that everyone can get to know you guys a little bit better as a couple and like individually. It's nothing crazy, Carly. So I can see your face be like, oh God.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
You're like, who are you voting for this year?
Oh my God.
I'm joking. No.
No, I had some of the girls from Europe and they were literally going at it in politics. And I was like, okay, we're going to have to cut all this out. Like,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it starts getting heated.
Yeah. And
Well-
then one girl's energy just completely shifted. And I was just like,
Oh.
okay, let's just like.
I know. That's
Well,
why.
we were talking about like on the way to the car, I was like, we're going to talk about conspiracy theories. And he was like, I don't believe in hell. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be controversial. And he was like, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
What? I didn't say that. I was like, I'm pretty sure Alex is not trying to avoid
No, I'm
some level
I
of
haven't
controversy.
avoided- I haven't avoided anything. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like concerned, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, I guess that's like essentially when you host a podcast, you are like an interviewer, and that's like what
Right.
you're doing.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
So
Getting people's perspective.
I'm like, they don't want me.
oh my God, no.
What?
No, like they. Like the Illuminati. Like they don't want me. Like they're not gonna come after me.
I cannot.
Oh.
The Dry Diaries. Like,
I just watched a whole interview as the singer System of a Down literally had I think it was the Turkish military possibly sending snipers to take him out during one of his shows.
Wow.
for
yeah.
who?
System of a Down.
Do you remember the wake up?
Oh my God, yes.
So they're I listened to them growing up and I always loved them, but I was so young that I didn't really realize they are really political, but kind of in the best way because they basically were like,
Wait, how long did that take you to finish?
whatever. I was like 10. I was like, do angels deserve to? But I like didn't know. And so
I just learned it right now. So.
Oh,
like,
no.
they're actually
Oh,
really,
God.
really political, but again, in the best way because they're like, the government, like, do you know what the government's doing? And so, yeah, like, if you read through the lyrics, you're like, oh, they're like really saying some deep shit here.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
the
not
opening
surprised.
track of their biggest album literally has him just reading statistics about overpopulation in the prison system.
Yeah.
So, that's,
Whoa. Wait, so they're sending snipers to take them out?
well, it was during it was when I think the United States was finally acknowledging that the genocide over there had occurred. And so Surge and the band in general is very outspoken about acknowledging that genocide had happened. And so because of that, the opposing military was getting really pissed off. So he had some friends in the FBI that were like, hey, they know about you. And just, so he was talking about in this interview, one of the shows that he did where he was like running around the stage real frantic because he was like, if you're going to take me out, I'm going to make it really hard. So like that performance, when they found out that they might have snipers trained on him, he was just like,
Oh my God.
Help.
That's so funny. Okay, so getting into it, as
Yeah.
a couple, what's the craziest argument you have had, but you look back now and laugh about because you're like, that was just so stupid?
I know mine. I said it yesterday. I don't know if Carly wants me to say it.
Which one? The one where I went down the street?
Yes.
Oh my God. There was COVID was hard.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. COVID was hard on so many levels. One of them, we did not agree on a lot of what was going on together. So we argued about it a lot. We actually almost broke up over it. But my therapist was like, Carly, I'm breaking up with Philip. And he was like, is that what you truly want? And I was like, no, but I'm breaking up with him. And so then we actually went to couples therapy and we like worked it all out and figured out that like it had nothing to do with COVID. It was a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And so now, yeah, we look back at it and we laugh about it because we're like, honestly, we probably will never argue about politics ever again. But then also, I can't even.
Do you want me to say it?
Wait, was it more of politics or
No.
like the vaccine thing?
No.
Like,
Oh.
Both.
Or both.
I think it was like
Oh, okay.
how the government was handling it, how the government was handling people, vaccinations, like all of it.
Well,
I feel
and-
like that's kind of one reason that they brought COVID to us.
To separate people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
separate people, seclude people, make
Yeah.
people feel like they're going crazy. Maybe issues happen or arise because like you're literally stuck in a box
No, literally.
for such a long period of time with the same people. So of course, like if I'm with the same people for like more than a few days, I'm like, all right, get the fuck out. I need to be alone. Like,
Yeah.
so
I mean, it was just
yeah.
funny because our couple service was literally like, okay, let me break it down for you. This has nothing to do with COVID. He was like, Carly, you have an issue with authority. And Philip, you have existential dread.
That's true. Was this Jordan or was this your guy?
Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like he was like, this has nothing to do with what you're even arguing about. It literally has like you and you. This is it.
Well, and then he would always end our
love that
sessions with, he's like, I love both of you so much. He's like, y'all make me laugh. Because everything to him was just like, this is just petty.
Yeah.
Like, to us, it was
is
so
petty.
big.
Yeah, and just politics in general, like anyway. But that was like an everlasting theme that would show up, and now we just laugh at it. We're like, can you believe? Because I can't. And then there was one night, it was like right when we all started going out again, but I was definitely very depressed in COVID, and so I think one night I got like wasted and
Oh, which story is
was this? The hair
this?
tie?
Was this a hair tie? When I brought you the hair tie and you
No,
like
we didn't
cried?
fight that night.
No, but that was cute.
There was one
She was in
night
the
I got
bathtub.
so drunk that I started crying about having lost my hair ties.
No.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Phillip, where are my hair
She was,
ties?
it was my, and I flipped the whole apartment over, and then I finally went down to the car and I found like one under the car seat, and I brought it back and I ran upstairs and she was in the bathtub and I handed it and she was like, "Thank you."
Oh my gosh, that's so cute though.
No, there was one where I showed up at his house after we had gone out, me and my friends, but I was drunk.
Oh yeah, that's.
And I don't even know how this argument even started.
No, I just remember because you showed up at the doorstep and then I said something like, "Oh hey," and I don't. It was just something so casual. And it, whatever it was, hit something with you, and you were just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. And she was like, I'm walking home. I'm like, you live 4 miles away. And she was
And I was
like,
I lived in Boston.
I
used
can
to do this
walk.
all the time, drunk.
Yeah.
And so in heels. And so I was like, F you. And so I like left and I
Yeah.
started walking, but like I forgot I'm in Van Nuys.
Yeah.
Like, you
That's
don't
what I
walk
was about to
home
say.
there. And so I started walking and then I had like my little backpack and all of a sudden this like man with a backpack started coming up to me and I was like, he's gonna kill me. And so I literally take my bag and I like pop him. But then
Stop.
yeah, he probably was trying to sell me drugs, but I was like, get away from me.
He was like, please, I'm just your kind everyday neighborhood dealer.
Literally.
And then I called him and I was like, come. And
Well,
then
I
he
was
couldn't
driving
find
around
me.
looking for her and I couldn't find her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then he drove me home and I
And
was
then
upset.
I was, she was like, why are you going away from your house? I was like, I don't think we need to stay at the same place tonight. And you were like, how dare
I
you?
was pissed.
Yeah, she was really mad.
Bringing it up.
Okay, well, because you guys are both in the music industry, I'm really excited to hear this answer. If your relationship had to be a song or like you had a theme song, what would it be?
I don't know if it would be like a theme song because of the meaning of the lyrics. Well, okay, this is two. But like
she's thought about this more since we've talked about it.
Listen to Justice, these two French DJs, like literally it's our go-to. We listen to that album over and over and over. I don't know why. Why? Because it's just so good.
Because I love you.
Oh my God. I don't know. Oh, I think it's something we just always bonded on. They're so good. And then we finally saw them live.
That's probably why, honestly.
We saw them live and
We
I
got
was like,
on
you don't
Coachella's
get
TikTok.
it. They are real musicians who actually know how to DJ. Because a lot of DJs are like, haha, look at me, I
Yeah,
pressed the
they
button.
press the
But they're
button.
like programming everything live. And I remember being like, you're going to love them. Just shut up and get in the car. We're going to Coachella.
I was
And
so cranky that day.
And so, yeah, we like finally saw them and he was like, okay, cool. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
But then also I remember we were there and I don't know if I can say this, but I was tripping on acid. And when I am on acid, I have these like big realizations. And so there's a song where it's like, because we are your friends, you'll never be alone again. And I remember being like, I'll never be alone again because we're together.
Oh my gosh.
And then literally Coachella like panned to us and then
Yeah.
posted that moment. So
Which not only went viral, but a lot of people were just like, I hope that guy got that girl's number. And I was like, we're engaged.
That's cute.
but yeah, I think that's probably it. I
That's
don't know
all?
what yours would be.
Oh no, mine would have been Generator, but off that same album.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's just like whenever I think about us, I think about like something pulsing and dark, but it's like Generator goes to this thing that
That's
has like,
crazy, pulsing and dark.
yeah, you know, and but it's got this like this organic bass line that comes in at the end that's just so funky and like it just kind of describes like we love wearing black and we're both kind of like dark with our humor and so I feel like it just fits our mood and our soundscape really well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
I've never heard either.
Educate yourself.
No, they're good. You have to check them out. Even if you like don't like the music, they're just solid musicians.
Well, I love DJs. So.
You're a solid musician.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hit on you this whole podcast.
Oh my God.
What are you doing later?
Well, do you guys want kids in the future?
I think I'm like 85% sure I don't want them. But it's interesting because when we first met, he did want kids.
Oh, I was like, I need to have them in the next like 3 years.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, if I have them, it'll be 40. And he was like, 40? I'll be old. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, that's the deal.
Yeah.
Just because
Even now, I'm like, too soon.
I don't know. Like, I love kids. I'm really good with them. Like, I do love them, and I have the patience for them. I just feel like I grew up half my life, like, already raising my parents and, like, my sister, and then we got an Australian Shepherd, and there was one moment where I was like, with our dog, I was like, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
I think it was when I was vacuuming poop out of the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, if I can't deal with this dog, like because it was like I didn't have we hadn't slept, we hadn't really eaten that much, I hadn't like had any time to myself, and I'm like a major introvert, and so I was driving in the car and I was like, I don't think I like myself like this. So if I don't like myself like this, I wouldn't want to put it on a child.
Right.
So yeah. We'll see.
But like, to be fair, having a dog is like having a kid.
Yeah.
The responsibilities of it. But then like a kid is times 2, and that's like what stresses me out about it.
And they talk back.
True.
Like even, well, I don't
And
know
they
he ever
cry.
sees us, but
Yeah.
And they
we
can grow up to
also
murder their
had my
parents.
younger sister live with us, and like there were points where we would kind of set boundaries in our household, and sometimes I felt like, not that she is a teenager, I just would feel like I was dealing with a grown adult in my house that wasn't listening and respecting the boundaries. And so I was like, oh hell no, like you put your time and like energy into a child, and then they grow up and they treat you like this. No I would rather have my double income, go on a vacation every year. Like, I'm good.
Oh.
What?
No, I just heard something stirring outside.
But I think that is a whole misconception, or like people really put emphasis on like, oh, if you get married, you need to have kids. Like if you don't have kids, it's kind of looked down upon in some way.
In one of my,
tell you how much crap we get.
In one of my live streams, somebody was like, could you imagine being married and not wanting to like carry on your DNA? And I'm like, that's so selfish.
It's selfish. They're like, people's reasoning for having kids is just so selfish. And I was a product of a pair of parents that shouldn't have had kids. So like, if I am going to have kids, I want to be 100% sure, because otherwise I don't want to put myself or my kid through what I went through. Like, it's not fair.
And I was going to say, like, I think that's fair what you're saying, because it's not fair to like the kid if you aren't ready for it.
Totally.
And
then,
so,
like, why? I don't know. And if someone doesn't understand that, that's fine. Like, you can hate on me all you want, but I've just never had this like dying urge to be a mom. Like, and if I haven't had that dying urge yet, like it probably won't happen. Right. So why would I have a kid if I'm like not fully invested?
Yeah. I think it's fine to be selfish and wait till you're ready. Like, mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever the reasons are.
Yeah.
And the whole time clock thing, like, obviously you can like my dad's like, Alex, you should think about getting your eggs frozen. I was like, Dad, I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be okay.
We know someone who had a child at 50 by accident.
So I think she was a little bit older than that.
She might have been.
Yeah.
But
and adoption is always an option, which I know that I want to have kids and like at least adopt one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfectly fine. If you aren't able to have kids at a certain age, adoption is always an option.
Totally.
But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen enough kids that need homes. Like, there's plenty, and I'm sure there will be plenty more.
I also feel like there's become this whole overarching hyper masculine vibe that's like somehow reached parenting spaces. Because there's a lot of dudes that are just like, well, you're only a real man if you get married. And then you're only a real man if you have kids. And then you're only a real man if you teach these kids this stuff. And so it's like, it almost kind of develops out of the snowball of just like real men do X, Y, and Z. When really, I feel like if you don't have the willingness outside of yourself to want to be that, like we have a friend, Dura and her husband are both two people that really wanted to have kids because they wanted to pour their love out in that way. And that is something so organically beautiful that I'm like, yes, please have more children, because you are spreading something good, but then a lot of other people just
Oh my God, like the guy that just got arrested for leaving his kid in the car because he wanted to go play video games
and watch porn.
And
What?
Yeah.
no,
I didn't hear about that.
But
I just don't understand why society like puts this major pressure on everyone to have children, and for why? Because y'all follow the blueprint and you're miserable. I don't know. That might also upset a lot of people, but like I just have never been one to follow the rules, and I've always been one to like think for myself. So I've like sat with it a lot and been like, do I really want to do this? And like all people aside, like, do I want to have them?
For you personally, yeah.
I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
finding someone that agrees with that too, because that's another thing. Like some people find someone and they say, I may not want kids, and they're like, well, I want kids, and then that causes them to break up. But like,
Well, and it's like when I originally wanted kids, when we first started dating, I was like super churchy, like super ingrained in the church. And part of the reason I had it in me was because they kind of beat into you like family, everything's family, everything needs to be family. And it wasn't until I started taking some time, and this is actually where COVID helped me. I took a little bit of a step out, and I realized that it wasn't something that I actually wanted right away. It was just kind of yelled at to me to need to have it.
This is what you do.
Yeah,
when you
this
get
is
married.
this
And
is just
you buy a house.
Yeah.
With a white picket fence.
exactly.
yeah,
And then you go into debt, like
Yeah, then you go to debt.
all this stuff. But I was like, I don't think I want to do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is a couple's tradition that you have? Like some people do date nights, you know,
Oh.
every Friday.
Yeah.
Every day is a date day with us.
What is our tradition?
Traveling at least one cool place a year.
Yeah, but also I feel like every Mother's Day, because we both lost our
Oh, yeah.
mom, we always say, let's turn off our phones because we don't want to like look at what everyone's posting. And then we usually do drive out to like Malibu.
Yeah.
And just
That's
kind of like
cute.
turn off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of like have our grieving moment.
Yeah. Like eat some good fish.
Yeah.
Neptunes, we love you.
Neptune's not.
Is that Malibu?
Yeah.
Seafood.
It's right
Oh,
off the
yeah, you would.
PCH.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I'm
it's
allergic to fish, so.
I mean, it's not great.
Yeah.
Just go get some.
Okay, what is your favorite conspiracy theory right now?
Go. You have such a loaded gun on it. It's
Oh my God, I
awesome.
have so many conspiracy theories. Well, I have a few, but the main one that I'm like, bruh, is that there is an entry into the middle of the earth, and that
Okay.
there is like some sort of portal that brings you into possibly like what is it? Like another version of Earth, like another reality. What
Like
am I
a-
thinking?
Well, it's like the Kong movies, like a second Earth inside
Second
of Earth.
but inside of the Earth, where there's like also another sun
Okay.
and just like a whole nother civilization.
Within the earth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
If you
then-
watch the Kong movies, you'll get it.
yeah, there's
Okay.
they've made movies on it, and I've read about it, and it just sounds so fascinating. But I also believe in like string theory. So I don't know if you've seen Loki, but basically it's like talking about how there's a string and then there's like multiple realities. So like there's probably hundreds of thousands of different Carlys living different lives, and
Yeah.
so anytime I have deja vu, like that's another
Yeah.
Carly being here already, whatever.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good one too. That I
Wait,
believe.
so where do you think the portal is?
In like
The
right
middle of the Earth?
Antarctica.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Although
Yeah.
we were watching another documentary where they were speaking about how I forgot where it was, but there was a certain cave in somewhere in
Oh.
like South America or something.
Well, they talked. So there's this new show. It's called Ancient Apocalypse, and it's this journalist that goes around different places like Peru, like the Incas
Yeah.
and the Mayans and Egypt and whatever. But he's talking about there might even be an even more ancient civilization than those people, where they just built on a very forgotten civilization
Okay.
that used energy in a different way we will never understand.
Oh.
So I could go on and on.
Epic.
Yeah.
So many.
No, I definitely think about the Antarctica thing because the ice wall
Yes.
is a huge thing, and now because global warming,
Oh my God, is it melting?
Yes, it's starting to melt. Yeah, it's crazy, and I actually sat next to someone on a plane. I don't really know if I should tell this, but whatever.
Look out, whoever this was.
Gonna find you.
Yeah.
They're gonna get you.
Oh my God.
So I sat next to someone on a plane, and he was in the military,
Oh.
and he was talking about how basically there's a lot of military in Antarctica.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
that.
you told we actually talked about
I think
this.
we talked about it, but there was 2 fighter pilots that were out. One got hurt, and the way that they were supposed to go help him would have taken 2 hours.
Right.
But on their thing, there's a different way that would have taken like 20 minutes. And this guy was like dying. If 2 hours, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
they took the way that was 20 minutes to this person. As they're flying over, they see like the dark hole people talk about and everything like that. And they're like, whoa, that's so weird. So they end up coming back. After they get back, they're approached by guys who basically tell them, if you talk about what you saw or
Yeah.
anything, you're done for.
Which now he's
So-
clearly done
so
for.
literally, we talked about like the theories yesterday, and so TikTok must have heard me because TikTok brought up a conspiracy on Antarctica, and I don't remember what explorer this was, but he was like a polar explorer. Like it came up on my feed this morning, and she was talking about how he had flown, because he was a pilot, he had flown over Antarctica, saw the frozen wall, and then he also had come back and started going on all these news shows talking about like, oh my God, there's like this beautiful city with like tons of like lush green and rainbows and like giants and all this stuff. And so
Whoa.
literally a year after he died in his sleep.
Epic.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and then she said after he came out about that stuff, that's when they did the Antarctic or Antarctica
No
treaty.
clue.
Basically where
Yeah.
you couldn't go up there anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like,
some people did talk about how they took boats out to go to the wall, and they were stopped by people who basically would tell them to turn around, or they would be taken out.
And then when I told him that, I was like, why would they not want us to know about this?
Oh, we were talking about the inner
Why?
earth
And so
theory.
he was like, well, maybe because most Christians on this earth think that hell is in the center of the earth. So if we,
Well, not most
if
Christians,
we talked
but
about,
a lot.
well, fine, but if we blew that up, then people would start asking questions on all types of levels. And honestly, religion is definitely a way to control people. So if they start asking questions,
Yeah.
so we were like, ping, 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 ping.
Yeah. I think that either Beyond the Wall is a completely different universe
Maybe.
or something like that, and then the hole is
Like a black hole or something.
a black hole, and it takes you to another,
It's fucking crazy.
what is it, like not simulation,
Like
but
another galaxy,
yeah,
another reality.
Well, my question in
Right.
all this is how do physics and gravity operate if we have this many?
I mean, what if it's not even a middle? Like, what if it's just a portal?
yeah,
'Cause-
or it's just a portal.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
Pacific. Have you seen Pacific Rim?
No.
Oh God, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's big monsters
it's
fighting
good.
giant robots. But anyways, these big monsters travel through this like interdimensional portal that's at the bottom of the ocean,
Yeah.
and it's
Which is
like,
also another.
which is also where Cthulhu comes from.
Yeah.
What the hell is Cthulhu?
Oh, it's a whole, it's
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
But
no, it's a lore. It's old like creepy stories, but it's like it's a story about this monster that is literally the encompassing embodiment of madness that exists on the moon, but there's a portal in the ocean that
You know
connects
what
the two.
this
I'm pretty
also
sure.
kind of reminds
Wait,
me
is this what the movie's about?
What movie? Pacific Rim?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so
Cthulhu is
Pacific Rim is separate, and then Cthulhu.
yeah, it's a separate
Okay, I
thing.
know
Yeah.
what Cthulhu.
Cthulhu's like a really
I remember
nerdy
that.
thing. It was written by Lovecraft. It's a Lovecraftian
Oh.
yeah
I don't
creation.
actually even really know. But I also think about, so there's a part in Lord of the Rings where Gandalf, he's fighting this like crazy horned guy and or
Balrog.
animal. Or I
Balrog.
don't even know. Yeah. And
Balrog.
he falls, what isn't it? He falls to the highest peak of the lowest point, and it's like almost this whole other world because
Yeah.
you've literally gone down and it's turned into a whole nother
Well, that's what
thing.
people say about The Wall,
Yeah.
is that it's basically like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I guess I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but I guess there's like an ice wall or something.
There's an ice wall full
So
of these
people were like,
creatures.
this is definitely like a innuendo type of situation of, again, media giving us signs.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I could go on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like my biggest one lately.
Nice.
Yeah. Super cool.
Phillip?
Mine? I was thinking about it because I don't have a lot of things because I love reading like super sciencey things. Like I watched a Jubilee that had like flat earthers versus like astronomers. You know what I mean? And so it's like I love hearing a lot of science and research and study back a lot of that. So I'm always very skeptic of conspiracy theories, but then I also realize that I have a whole section that I believe in within religion. Because I personally believe that the hell that I believed in growing up and everything like that is non-existing. There is no hell. If so much of that is true within faith and everything else, I wouldn't think that a hell would exist. Richard Rohr, who's a really well-known, prominent figure within the Catholic Church, actually talks about hell as being something that we have defined as ourselves and something that we climb out of ourselves.
Like a state of mind.
Like a state of mind, while simultaneously government and the church together, which was controlling a lot of art in the Renaissance era, would actually manufacture artistically a description or a depiction of hell so that it would place a form of moral guidance within people to force them to want to be a certain way. So
do you believe that there is a devil?
yes, but I don't believe that we are banished forever to exist with him. Because I feel like if God is supposed to be all encompassing and all loving, he wouldn't exhibit a punishment, especially when I think about it, like if someone hadn't have known Jesus their whole life or something,
Right.
and then they're hit with a car. You know, I wouldn't think that somewhere in that he'd be like, bad shit, man, sorry, and just throw him down there.
I just mean, do you believe in the enemy or devil just in a general way? Because you know how people associate hell with the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So if hell is maybe a state of mind, like a torment state of mind, is there still a devil, or is the devil?
I mean, it's cool.
Like,
it's cool lore to think that like early Genesis, you know, a third of the angels were all cast out and they were all thrown down. And then I do believe that there are malevolent forces at play.
For sure.
But do I think that there is a place where if you're good enough or not even good enough, but you know, whatever, like that you're thrown there forever like a trash can? No. And it's even biblically, there's really only like one description of it. And Jesus kind of talks about it, but it's even kind of obscure what he's truly referring to. A lot of people can say that when he's talking about like the weeping and gnashing of teeth, that he's actually talking about our own mental imprisonment that we do to ourselves.
Have you seen The Good Place?
oh yes.
Yeah. So sometimes I almost feel like hell is here on earth. We just don't realize, but it's like, and then if we end up dying and we don't sort out our karmic lesson, we have to like go back into the cycle, which is just hell for, me.
Well, and that's something.
I'm gone. I hope this lifetime I'm good.
That's something that like
graduate.
Richard Rohr, that writer I was talking about, also kind of meshes with Carl Jung in the sake that our own afterlife would be something of returning to a subconscious where we bring our collective experience and knowledge together, and then we come back, and then we kind of like cyclically live through another lifetime to take back that cosmic lesson into this other great pit of energy. But all that to say, I believe that hell was something that was created by the Catholic Church and the government within the Renaissance era to not only place us versus them, but to also set a dynamic of control over morality with people.
Instill fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Shame
then,
and fear.
yeah, if you're always worried about being good enough or being like not having people look down on you or whatever and blah, 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 then you're going to live by a standard if you have that fear.
I think, my take on that is I honestly haven't thought about hell too much.
Yeah.
It's great.
Which is interesting, but I do believe that there is an enemy or devil, however you want to put it. But
that can like derail you.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Like put negative thoughts or like just bad like
Yeah.
energy.
Juju, yeah.
All that stuff. But heaven is I think that the Catholics believe this the most, is that you have to earn your way to heaven. Whereas like the God that I believe in, you don't really need to earn your way to heaven. It's just all unconditional love. So,
which is where my rub is, because then you have like non-denominational evangelical churches which preach like prosperity gospels, which are like, if you have enough faith financially, you'll be able to make your way there. And it's just like, full stop.
They preach unconditional love and faith, but then it's not because you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. The Bible says that you need to serve X amount, tithe X amount. And yeah, it does say that. But if I don't do those things, am I going to hell? No. Am I not going to make it to like heaven? Like, no, that's not true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hate that is forced on people, because I think that's where it kind of causes division.
Yes.
And a lot of people walk away from the church because they're not able to do all the things that they're telling them that they need to do, and then they feel shame.
Well, and that's where I feel like a lot of the concept of love and care and arriving for one another gets lost in the sauce, because it's literally they're spending so much time trying to collect and do things for themselves, so they don't, That's why when people are just like, oh, you have to go out and love people, I'm like, are you doing that because you want to save yourself from something,
this
or
underlying thing?
Yeah, or are you actually being cool and genuinely loving people and just doing that out of that?
We did a big mushroom ceremony together where I had a lot of mushrooms. I think we both saw God, but yeah, all I can say is however that feeling is just what, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you just feel this overwhelming like pouring of love. Like, you feel like you're like bathing in love.
I spent years in Christian camps. I'd been like a pastor and like a worship pastor and all these different things. And you reach these mountaintop moments spiritually where you're just like, oh, I feel God's love. But it was the only time that I ever truly felt it was when I was tripping with you in a park. And I was like, oh my God, I get it.
You feel like one with everyone. Like, no one could piss you off. Everyone, you see people, like you really see them and like who they are. And then you have love for them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So we're going to get into Europe. We were just there for Carly and Phillip's wedding. And we started in Florence, then we went to Tuscany
Yeah, it was Tuscany. Sienna's in Tuscany.
But there was a lot of things that happened along the way.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Which is, there's a lot.
Yeah, like the saying of like, if there's a lot happening that goes wrong, it's going to be a good marriage. I feel like this is about to be the best marriage.
Right.
Because everything that could have gone wrong just went wrong.
Right.
But, yeah.
So, do's and don'ts of wedding planning, especially overseas.
If you're going to do it in Europe, they are just a different pace. So it was just very, very slow in getting a response. So I would suggest, if you are going to do it and you're going to use a planner from the US, just make sure you leave, honestly, more than a year, because sometimes it would take a month for them to respond to me. And then if you use someone there, amazing. I'm sure they can handle it.
Yeah, but the Europeans do everything so much slower. Like, work is not a priority for them. So,
which is funny because it's like, wait. Oh my God, it's happening now. And it's just like,
A do is you're gonna need help.
Yeah.
So just ask. And I'm not used to like asking for help, but there were a lot of things where I would be emailing or whatever, and I would just finally designate to him, or like I even asked like you and my other bridesmaid Meg. So yeah, like don't do it all alone.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more do.
Yeah, go for it. I'm thinking.
I mean, it's a little different because we paid for it for ourselves. Like, no one helped us. So we just were like, we're going to do what we want and fuck all you.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I walked into the dress shop because my dress was a little bit sheer, and she was like, do you have anyone that's going to be upset about this? And I was like, upset about what? Me looking hot as hell? Like, what are you talking about? But like, it does make me sad that women, or even like, I don't know, people actually stress about that. Like, do what makes you happy. It's your day. Yeah. Everyone else is just coming along for the ride.
Right.
Unless someone's paying for it, then it's different. But
yeah, but
even then,
it's
your day.
Right.
Like, it's about y'all. So yeah.
So, and then also one thing before Phillip, you go is I think a lot of people think that having a wedding overseas is like crazy expensive.
No,
And
it can be, but
right, you can make it what it is, but their wedding was absolutely beautiful. It was like in a open cathedral, and then we also stayed in a villa, and
there's ways.
And it only costs $500.
Our
Right,
venue,
but-
I'm just kidding.
No, our venue was $800.
which is insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
What is
'Cause
it
it was-
called?
It's called
San
San
Galgano.
Galgano Abbey, and it's
Yeah.
like this. I think it was built in like 500 AD, and it has this open ceiling, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. Like you go in, you're like, whoa. So the fact, like, we reached out thinking, oh, it's gonna be like $10,000.
Yeah.
No.
$800.
Yeah. It looked like something out of like
crazy.
a video game that I would
Yeah.
have played. I was
Yeah.
like, God.
It was beautiful.
I mean, they shot a lot of Star Wars out in Tuscany, right?
They shot Star Wars in Napoli.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Do you have any do's or don'ts?
Yeah, thank you. That gave me enough time to think about it. My do would be pick people that are really going to show up for you on that day to be around you. I remember when I went to an old friend's wedding and I was one of his groomsmen, and he had like one of the other guys running around doing everything, like I don't know, filing stuff for him or whatever, like writing paperwork or something for like vendors and things. And I was like, what do you want me to do? And he was like, just hang out with me. And I was like, okay. And so we like hung out and just kicked it the whole day. And he was like, I just need to go for a walk. Just come walk with me. And I'm like, all right, okay. I just walked with him. So I didn't really realize the significance about that because I was lame at the time. And so when I was looking for a best man, the guy who I originally asked to do it wasn't able to make it. And so this couple friends of mine stepped in to be like my wedding party, Rush and Emily, or Marjorie and Emily. And they were so good on the day of the wedding.
Yeah, I loved them.
And they were exactly what I needed because Marjorie, I was like, oh, I'm going to go take a shower. Like, I feel like I need to take a shower before the ceremony. And he was like, dude, I'm going to steam your stuff. He's like, I got some snacks out here on the table. You know, I'm going to make sure that you're chill. And he just hung out with me and we just kicked it. And I like wrote my vows out. And Marjorie was just like, hey, this would be a cool idea if you did this and that and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like I was hanging out with a friend that was able to fill in some gaps. Remember the car thing when we drove away?
Yeah, and
They-
also with the photos.
Yeah.
When they were like, okay, Alex, you delegate all the photos. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, that's like a big responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I can do it, but is there like a shot list? And they're like,
No, totally.
no, just do it. And I was
no.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And he was, or both of them, they were
Yeah.
very helpful.
Well, Marjorie and Emily were walking around shooing people out of the venue. And so quickly to move on, my don'ts would be don't let people influence your choices with anything.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when I remember there was a woman who we went to go see Pompeii, and Susan,
Suzanne.
she was
Susan
like,
from Ohio.
she was giving Carly crap because she was like, oh, you wore a black dress. That means you weren't a virgin. And then Carly was like,
What? Someone said this to you?
Someone
Yeah.
said this to me. But it was like, well, first of all, anyone that knows me, it made sense for me to wear black.
Yeah.
There were a lot of reasons why I chose to wear black, but number one was like, I just don't look good in white. I am fair as hell. Like,
But also,
why?
I'm not a virgin.
I'm not a virgin. We all know this, and I'm not out here trying to hide. But like, I just wanted to wear black.
what? You're not?
It felt more me. Like,
Her dress was like stunning.
Oh, it killed
So
me.
beautiful.
and I knew like the day I put it
pictures
on.
did not do justice whenever you sent it to me before.
Yeah.
And then I saw it in person. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
love. Like, good job,
And
Carly.
the veil, like the
Yeah.
veil was, I had a little white in there, but like I remember, yeah, I couldn't even believe that the girl at the shop was like, is anyone gonna be upset over this? And I was like, no. And even if my parents were alive, they'd be like, it's Carly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Well, I even got questioned because when I was buying my suit, the interior of the suit had a bunch of like red skulls and like snake patterns.
yeah.
And so the guy that worked at the shop was like, dude, this is gonna be cool as hell. And then like I remember somebody being like, oh, like this is for a wedding?
wedding?
And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah. And they're like, what is it? What is it trying to be some kind of rock star wedding? And I was like, yeah, we're rock star as hell,
You know,
please.
we are rock stars.
Yeah.
Not trying.
That's what the heck.
Also, what is more Italian than black lace? I'll
Oh.
wait.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's we fit the vibe. It was like
Black
snake
lace is
skulls
all
and
over the
skeletons.
runways, so
Yeah, well, I think the thing that really was like, okay, I'm buying this dress was my friend sent me a Dolce & Gabbana runway done in Puglia, and it was all black lace. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, sold.
yeah.
She's getting it.
Yeah, it was cute. I loved it.
Yeah.
So, planning the wedding, how did you decide to have it in Tuscany, or why? And what did it look like? Did you go there before?
So before we got engaged, we had randomly come across this like image. It was so dark and emo. This couple had done an elopement shoot at
Oh, yeah, I
San
remember that.
Galgano, but I didn't remember the name. All I remember was that like it talked about having a sword in the stone. It's like the actual like what is it?
King Arthur.
Or King Arthur, yeah. So when we got engaged, I was like, remember that place? Like, what if we could get married there and just do an elopement? Because at first we were gonna get eloped, and do like these metal photos. So I looked up Sword in the Stone, Italy, and I found it. And so then I was like, all right, let's just reach out and see how much money. And if it's like absurd, we'll move on. But if it's affordable, like F it. So we reached out and they told us the price, and we were like, yeah.
You're like, wait, is this
Well,
fake?
we thought they were joking at the
Yeah.
first place. Like,
Yeah,
no
we were
way.
like, are these 800 like down payment? Like,
Yeah.
what? So anyway, so we ended up doing it. And then I think throughout the process, we realized that we did actually want more people than just like a few people. And so it ended up turning into like a micro wedding. But then, yeah, we just kept on like doing research as far as pricing, and it's just laughable how much we spent here and what we got compared to like what we would have gotten here.
Yeah, the flowers were like
Oh.
literally
Beautiful.
God,
beautiful.
she
and
killed
if
it.
You would have, because my mom does like events stuff too, and so I sent
Oh.
her like photos, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, those arrangements are beautiful.
So good.
How much did they spend on flowers? Like it must have been crazy." And I was like, "I
No.
think it was just like a couple $1,000."
Wait, who was
Yeah.
the flower person again?
Patricia.
Patricia.
Yeah,
She
shout
crushed
her
it.
out.
Shout out.
She was the best vendor of the
She
wedding.
was so sweet.
Yeah.
And
Well, the photographers and the
Oh, yeah, I loved
cinematographer.
the photographers.
Yeah.
They were. I love that they were so goofy.
Yeah,
and
they were
fun.
really
Yeah.
cute.
Well, they were like so excited to shoot a couple that was just like down for anything. You could tell. They were like, "What about this? Can you do this? Will you stand on this?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." Like,
They were like,
I was
what if you
dying.
ran in the rain? We're just joking.
And
We're
then we
just
were like,
kidding. But we were like,
okay.
we'll do it. And they're like, really?
yeah.
Well,
so-
because there's probably so many people that they work with that come from the U.S. have weddings, and it's like
boring.
a nightmare of like,
Or, yeah.
hey, I
Yeah.
need this, and this, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they have to do it. But on that note about vendors, we have to discuss.
Oh,
the
man,
food.
I'm ready.
I can kind of preface it, and then you guys have to tell me the story because I haven't been updated like this far. Really, I mean a little bit, but not fully. So I will say after the wedding, the setup of the food was
I mean, the
real-
food was amazing.
Yeah. It was so beautiful. It was really cute. Great setup. Post wedding, I wake up the next day. Also, that night, I got pretty drunk. So, like, I thought that I was hungover.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm just hungover. Like, I was we went to a bar after the little reception.
You were
never
legitimately the
seen, like-
embodiment of the after party.
I've never
Yeah.
seen her drunk, so she was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because I was like, "Oh wow."
Yeah, because I was drinking with the Italians, and they were giving me some sort of
Limoncello.
Italian liquor, and
And Justin Bieber was playing.
yeah,
we just
Yeah.
couldn't stop.
yeah, so it was fun. But the next day I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm just like a little hungover, like no big deal. Alex,
Yeah.
like get over it, lay in bed, you'll be fine. And then I think it was the following day, you guys started getting the same
It
symptoms.
was horrible.
And then there's just like more and more people that started feeling the same way as I did.
And we all just started discussing what happened because we were in our own rooms. We were staying in
Yeah.
a villa. No one really spoke to one another unless we were all going out to lunch. And so, yeah, like we started talking to other people and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we can't come out because of X, Y, and Z." And then literally, like, I've been to fucking Uganda and
Yeah.
I've never been that sick in my life. Like,
Yeah.
out of all places to get that sick.
Yeah, well, it's
Never
wild 'cause I
expect that.
I toured for over a decade and I went all over the world. Like, and it's just like, yeah, it's the same as you. I went to so many places that were like terribly unknown in like South America, where it's just like, yeah, here's a random vendor in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
I was in Morocco and I ate meat that some dude was cooking off a rock.
I got horchata.
Like, yeah.
Horchata, like from like a food truck in Mexico in a water bottle, and I
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
You know, like
In a
my
used
stomach
water bottle,
is
yeah.
steel.
Right.
So the fact that we all started getting sick like that, and then when we reached out in like a pretty kind manner to be, because we spent the most money on the food.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I knew that, and I was like, Carly, you have to reach out.
Yeah,
And, like,
so we
ask
shot
her
our
to
shot. We shot our shot. We were like, hey, first off, without even asking for like a partial refund, we were like, just an FYI, so you know, this is what happened. This is how many people got sick. Da, da, da. And then we were like, we'd like a partial refund. Like, this was crazy.
Yeah.
We literally couldn't even pack our suitcases. Like, I had
Yeah.
to do all these other things for people. So we just asked, and they came back at us like,
Oh, they swapped from
was
the very
crazy.
kind lady that I was dealing with to Alessandro.
yeah. And then the
You could
woman
beep
that
that
had
name out if
set
you
us
want.
up with the caterer from the venue didn't even respond. It was basically like, you paid, fuck off. Like, I got what I needed.
Yeah.
Bye. So we just left feeling like so taken advantage of. And I really hope that that's not like, I mean, I don't think it's all Italians. Because our
No.
other vendors were great, but
Yeah.
it just left such a sour taste in our
Well,
mouth.
the fact that because I was the one that reached out and I told literally like we were on the property. I was walking around like we were supposed to meet with what's her name with a G.
The woman that had the venue or the villa, she also had an assistant, and the assistant was dealing with our last payment. And when we went to deal with our last payment, Philip was like gagging in the
Oh, I
hallway.
heard him.
Yeah,
And I could
I'm
barely
loud.
sit up during the meeting.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, just like, how much do you need so we can pay and go back to bed?
Well, and it's just like
Yeah.
all the flowers that were still in the room from the
the
night.
fall.
I walked in, the smell hit me, and I immediately was like,
But it
"Huh?"
was just crazy because this woman literally looked at us and she was like, oh, there's probably a stomach bug going around. And I was like, this is not a stomach
Yeah,
bug.
the fact that like
No.
so many people uniquely in our group got hit with it, but none of the workers, none of anybody else got hit with it. Only the people that had eaten this food.
I think it was the steak.
Yeah. So does I think that's Bruno
Siani.
mentioned that.
And Bruno. And
Because a lot of people that didn't eat a lot of the steak, they
We're
didn't
fine.
get
Yeah.
the same symptoms.
A lot of
that
people
we
ate
did.
up to the second portion. They were like was it risotto or what was it first? The
I don't
cheese
even
thing.
know. Yeah.
They stopped at the the pasta and boar. And then after that came the zucchini with the steak, and that's what we think is the plate that did everybody in. Because a lot of people were just like, I'm already too full to eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was honestly, we weren't even upset. It was more like
was
the
upset.
way that it was handled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was just more upset that the way it was handled. Like, we were not trying to be
No.
like, pay us money or else. Like, we were like, hey, someone could have actually gotten very ill.
Which is so strange because literally Europe is known to have the like best, most natural
yeah.
food.
Especially Italy.
Especially Italy.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just a thing where the steak sat out too long.
Well,
Totally.
but the thing is though is
And stuff happens. Like,
yeah.
we were very forgiving, but they like
Yeah.
chose to take it somewhere else, and we were like, okay, well,
Well, I told them I was like, I would love to handle this privately. I was like, I would. But I was like, you know, if we can't navigate this in some way, I was like, I'm just going to let it show in the review. I'm like, because it's, and so they're like, you're blackmailing us. I'm like, I'm not.
You got their Google
No.
taken down.
Well, no. Okay, so here's what happened. Is they were just immediately like they emailed back and they said, well, a lot of your guests were saying to us that they had a stomach bug, and I was like, a lot of your guests were saying to who?
no one said anything.
No one
to
said that.
anyone,
And-
except probably the villa owner.
And so I told them, I was like, yeah, you're trying to gaslight us through this whole thing. And I was like, that's not how it went down. I have names of people. We have text messages. We have everything. And so a friend of ours, Candace, and myself, we started leaving reviews. And they were just like, this is just a big attempt to try and blackmail us to like give you,
Pay
to
them.
extort us. And I was like, I didn't even want a full refund. I just wanted
Yeah.
a small portion of what we paid to compensate for people's like we had to pay for a car for
Travel,
somebody.
because we couldn't drive them, like all
Right.
these things.
Even you had to move your
And
flight.
yeah,
And I
and
had
like,
to move my flight from
You did.
New York to London
Yeah.
because I literally could not have survived the plane ride all the way to New York, and I was like, I cannot shit on a plane like that, or throw up on a plane. That's just not.
And that's all we were
No,
trying
Marjorie
to...
and Emily had to book a different flight, and like,
oh my God, I didn't know that.
yeah, but then that's where they hit us with like legal, like they hit us with a legal letter.
They left it on Google, and that's against Google's terms.
Well, so I told Google, I was like, hey, they're threatening us with legal action for a review, an honest review, and Google was like, oh, well, we'll just remove them from Google Maps. So bloop.
And you know, look, I don't like to pull the I'm an influencer card, but like I was laughing because I posted this 7-second video that just like blew up. Right. I didn't have any intention. I didn't even say the name of the caterer, but it blew up. And I was like, imagine if I was a mean person.
But that's just it, is all of this was an instant of like, it didn't have to go there.
Yeah.
And it was, at the end of the day, I would have been okay if they were just like, hey, we're so sorry. Like, I remember there was a taco truck that I went to, and I loved them. They were my favorite here in LA, but they shut down, I guess. I hope they didn't. I love them.
I think they're taking a break.
Anyways, but I would go to them religiously, like weekly. I love them. And one day I got sick. Mm-hmm. And so I went to them and I was like, hey, I think I got sick. I got food poisoning from your stuff. And they were like, well, we really go out of our way to make sure that that doesn't happen. But they go, we're going to look into it because in case it was us, we want to prevent that from happening. So they said, thank you for telling us. Here's a free burrito. Mm-hmm. Like they gave me like a free dinner. And it was like, I'm not even looking for a free dinner. If they would have acknowledged and not been like, you're wrong in what happened to you, you're lying about it. I'm like, well.
Because I just think about like, okay, the amount of money I spent on that food, it's a lot of money. And so if that had happened to even like a car, if I had gotten a car and I drove off the lot and my wheel fell off, I'd go back and be like, okay, hi, I either want to return this car and you give me something different, or like fix the wheel.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's not really that.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a lot here.
Yeah, no. And that's all to say that every other vendor, this is not representative of Italy as a whole. We love Italy. We want to continue going back over and over again.
Don't do your wedding there.
What? No,
at the villa.
Oh, at the villa. Yeah. Well, and that's where it is the owners of the caretakers of the villa and the caterers were horrendous to deal with.
Yeah.
Everybody else was amazing.
What was your favorite memory overall of your wedding, or just the experience? Yeah.
I think I was like on the dance floor after like everything had happened, and I just remember being like, all right, it was worth every cent, because the whole way leading up to it, I was like, we should have just gotten eloped. Like, why are we spending this much money? And why are we putting ourselves through this much stress? And like, fuck everyone and blah, blah, blah. But then it was like so nice seeing all of our friends together having a good time, especially my family, because...
And my family with your family.
Yeah. But like also I totally forgot until Richie had mentioned how like sad Tuscany probably was for him, because our dad was in the hospital when he was there. So it was just like nice that we got to like reset and like do a different memory there.
Yeah.
I remember being at somebody's wedding one time, and it was our friend Amy, and I think she mentioned, she was like, I don't know, I just imagine this is what heaven feels like. Because it's just, and I finally understood it that night when little, what's her name? Anthony's daughter. Alana. When she was, he's this little toddler's breakdancing in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, and I was just like, I could die right now. That, and then my shower after everything was amazing.
Yeah.
You're so rude.
Oh, shower. Got it.
Not online. Not on the
What?
Not on the show.
It was just a really good shower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I am obviously not a very emotional person. I can't remember the last time I really cried. And whenever Carly was walking down the aisle, tears just were like going down my face, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like,
you were like, I have feelings this way.
I think you looked back at me at one point, and then like I was also choking back stuff. Yeah. So it's like it was you, and I think like Emily that I looked at, that we were all like,
yeah. I remember. Oh my gosh. So I was one of Carly's bridesmaids, and she had a like long veil. And so I took on the role of like helping her fix the veil, which cut to like maybe I wasn't the best person.
It wasn't your fault though. It was so windy.
Yeah.
It was already, like, first of all, no one punctured it correctly. They put it on backwards.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better. So like I go to fix her veil and it just comes off. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I'm trying to like stick it back in her head, like in the middle of the wedding. And I was like stressing out so bad. I'm like, oh my God.
My favorite was the stink bug that I saw crawling up the veil.
Oh, yeah.
And then
yes.
We were in the middle of the ceremony. I just went.
Yeah, he was like, you have a bug in your head. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I think we like got it off or something.
I don't know.
I think I flicked it out.
It was so windy, but I'm really excited to see the photos. I think they're going to end up
They haven't
like,
sent them yet?
No, they can take their time.
Only like a few.
Oh, wow.
But I have one where the veil is like...
Wait, so when do they send them?
It takes them a few months, I think.
Yeah, she took a lot. We bought a pretty
Yeah.
good package with them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and the cinematographer is gonna do like his whole like
A video.
video package for
Yeah.
us. And
I feel like when I get married, it's going to be one for like all my friends and family to get together and just like have fun and like party, whatever, good time. But it's mostly for the photos.
No, well, but you know what we thought about? So first,
Obviously, like the love story, yes, but like the photos
yeah,
as well.
love.
Like,
That's fine. Who's he?
no, because we thought about when we were doing it, we were like, all right, we're gonna spend this kind of money. But then once we like changed the mindset of like, what if we think of it as the biggest, most expensive, over the top art project we've ever done? And so once we like thought of it like that, we were like, oh my God, let's do photos like this. And so we just made it like, we're creatives. Like,
you guys should do a song together and then clip to like wedding footage.
Oh
yeah,
that would be cute.
And like make it a YouTube or like a music video type of thing.
Well, it's funny because when I was in the car with our kind of wedding planner day of, she was like, are you nervous? Because she's done so many weddings that she usually talks to dudes that are like sweating bullets or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. It just feels like I'm getting ready to play a show.
Yeah. So one of our friends a long time ago said, weddings are just music videos for people that have never done a music video.
Yeah.
And once she said that, I was like, oh my God, she's actually right. Because like, you are the star of the show. You are going to be in hair and wardrobe. You're going to be starving because you haven't like really eaten, and it's all about you. But at the end, you're like, can we not have it all be about me? I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had already done music videos enough to be like, all right, I know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was like funny to just think about, like once we shifted that mindset of like it, because and it was cool because we had to elope here and we had a moment for ourselves. But even when we went out to have dinner, we were like, oh, bummer, like I wish we had had people. So it was nice to do both.
Yeah. And then we forgot to mention there's like a little moment in Florence. So we did Carly's bachelorette, or like
there were a lot of little moments in Florence.
We did our bachelorette in Florence and we planned like a weekend. So we get to the Airbnb that we're supposed to stay at and we walk in and there's literally watermarks on the walls.
Hell.
And for me, I used to live by the beach. And so I had like a small percentage of black mold in my last place, which like made me very sick and it took me forever to detox out. So the second that I stepped in there, I was like, oh no, like this smells way too familiar. And like even being in something like that for like 4 days, the amount, you like triple the amount that it takes to get rid of that.
Oh my gosh.
So like for me, I was like, it's not worth it. So they're like, oh no, it's fine. And I was like, okay, I'll just contact Airbnb and I'll let them know and we can just figure it out. And they're like, oh no, you don't need to contact Airbnb. We'll give you a full refund and it's fine. So we ended up booking a place. We like sat on the street and just were.
It was great.
It was
the best mishap ever.
Well, that day, I don't remember why, but that day was like hard in particular because we were dealing with like wedding stuff.
Oh yeah,
we were dealing with the oh my God, because they had literally not given us the bill.
Yeah.
And we were like, can you just give us the bill so we can like rest easy and relax now that we know we can actually afford it? Like, where is the bill? And they just kept going back and forth. And so then that happened and we were like, I just want to lay in bed.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. It was
because we arrived at the Florence place and we were just like, oh, holy crap, this is.
Yeah. Where we stayed was absolutely beautiful. And it overlooked the, what is it
Forget
called?
what was that? The Palazzo in
Yeah.
the middle of the courtyard.
And it was next to like Dior and like all these other places that were just like so cute. Also, Carly and I got stopped by a random man who wanted to do a full photo shoot of us and YouTube video.
Oh my gosh.
Why wasn't I there
That
for
was
that
funny.
one?
You went to go get her perfume.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I was doing husband things
Yeah.
or fiance things.
So yeah, it all went well. The food was really good. The nightlife in Florence is fun. It's a lot of college-aged people, which I didn't know. I guess a lot of people study abroad there.
I was shocked actually how many
So-
older people though that like you had helped us meet that were like present in the club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun. I feel like we talk about going back to Florence. I mean, obviously, I would like to go back to do a few more of the museums because I have been there several times now. But we were like, let's just go back to Italy to literally revamp our closets. Like,
Yeah.
Florence is my favorite to shop for, like, just getting new looks that you probably wouldn't see here. And then even when we were in Napoli, they had fire streetwear.
Napoli was perfect.
And then where else were? Oh, we want to go back to like Milan, but
Milan, yeah.
yeah, we were like, we'll just bring money for that.
Yeah, I didn't know that for like getting fur there. You know that they can't you can't buy fur in the US?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You can't buy fur jackets in the US.
Anymore?
Real fur.
Because it's animal
They
cruelty
banned it.
here.
I didn't
Oh.
know that.
Oh, I didn't either.
So even if you want fur, you have to go
You have to
overseas.
go. I mean, this trench is Italian leather, and it's honestly.
Although this is leather and I bought this at All Saints.
It's pretty crazy. These are Italian as well, but
But you can buy leather. You just can't buy fur.
like this is amazing leather, and I barely spent money on it. It's wild.
Well, that dude definitely wrangled us into a deal for sure. Because he was like, I'll take it. He told me if you buy your jacket, I'll take hers even lower. I'm like, that's so cruel. That's
No, I
so
was like,
mean.
buy the jacket.
Yeah.
Just buy it.
Get the jacket.
Yeah, I just love Europe. I love Spain. Like, as Spain and Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess what UK isn't considered Europe anymore, right?
The UK, it's still Europe.
Oh,
It's just not.
I don't know. You can cut this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to
No.
Europe for the food and the fashion. And yeah.
And the views. Like it was nice to walk. I actually stepped on the scale when I got back because I'd been there for 3 weeks and I did drink a lot and I did eat a lot and I had lost weight again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just wish that
Same.
we had more walkable cities.
I also think we lost a lot of weight because I was busy throwing up a lot of what
We
I.
also had food poisoning.
Yes.
But
So
I feel like I made that up in wine.
Made that, yeah, and the honeymoon too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the 2 days that we could actually leave our bedroom.
Our honeymoon though was hilarious
Because we were
we
sick.
had gotten this Airbnb that I was excited because the view was like literally Mount Vesuvius, so you could see that in the distance. But when I looked it up, it was like, yeah, there's a bus stop literally right there, so you can just take the bus down to the thing. But we were like, no, it's cool, we'll walk. So you could walk down through, but it was so steep.
Yeah.
So we kept walking up the hill, and I was like, this is legitimately like a cardio workout.
Yeah.
This is half a mile just up.
Wait, did you guys love Sorrento?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think just it was a lot of tourists. Like
Yeah.
Sorrento, Capri, like
Well, especially when we got to
I
when
just
we
was
first
so
got to
over
Capri.
Americans. Like I didn't want to even be around an American.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
we were really good about getting to Capri like really early.
And we rented a boat. So
Oh
I think the
God,
most
that was a
funny-
trip highlight.
Oh yeah, that was so cute. Your
Yeah.
photos.
Oh my God. If you guys are ever in Capri, like literally just rent a boat.
With John
Rent a
Marco.
boat for the entire day. Don't go on the island until later because there's a billion people and you're like shoulder to shoulder. But like
Yeah.
being on that boat, and then even when we were like, we want to go see the Blue Grotto because it's like very
Yeah.
famous, and he was like, no, it's a 2-hour wait. We're gonna go to another place, and it
Yeah.
was essentially the Blue Grotto. But he was like,
Yeah.
do you want to swim? And I was like, okay. So he like hands me a noodle, and he's like, go in the Blue Grotto.
Aw.
And so he just showed us like all the cool hookups, and then he like would boat ride a little bit and then stop and be like, do you want to swim more? And so it was like the best money.
Or he
spent.
pulled out
Yeah.
limoncello out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, he was like, do you like limoncello? And then we were laughing because we were playing Justice, and we were like, he probably has to deal with Americans that have no taste in music and
Well,
are not
we
cool.
were the day before we were having like
We
a we were having like a little dinner or lunch kind of like overlooking a bunch of boats where it was a dock where we would have gotten on in the first place, where we took the ferry.
Yeah.
And people were on a private boat tour and they were on
They were
repeat.
doing Sweet Caroline.
On repeat, Sweet Caroline.
Oh no.
And I the first time I was like, oh, that's funny, like Americans. And then on the third or fourth time, I could imagine being that captain being like, kill me.
It's like when I'm at weddings where they play songs like that, like the band music, the typical ones. I literally am like, okay, I'll go sit at a table by myself and like chill for a second. And I'm just like, let me know. Like music at most weddings is
so bad.
Oh my gosh.
No, our don't list was probably more extensive than our list.
Yeah.
And then I think I pretty much just did our playlist. Yeah. Because it was so last minute, and I have no regrets.
It was great.
And
then
it was he started taking requests at the end. And
yeah,
I started giving him songs.
Oh, yo, I don't even remember that dude's name, but our DJ was so good. He was, again, another vendor that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was so cute. He was just like this little bald guy.
Oh, and tidbit
barely
of
spoke
information.
English.
If you do a wedding in Italy, the DJs will most likely not be announcers. So we have to have my brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, always make sure to have an
They're not
MC
an
on
MC.
hand.
They're not an MC.
Yeah.
They just play the music.
Although your brother was just like, what? Me? No, I'm not prepared. Microphone out of
Love
sleeve.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I had to give a speech in front of everyone as a bridesmaid for Carly. And again, I was like reading it and I started to almost cry. And I was like, what the heck?
I didn't know.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get like, I was like, I don't know if I was holding my breath or something, but I like almost felt like I was like choking up. And I was like,
it was the food poisoning setting in.
It could be that. But like, I'm fine talking in front of people. But when it comes to like talking about something with great meaning, like with when I do vows, like I'm
actually shocked at how much I didn't cry.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah. But I also was like, I feel like because you've been a performer, you kind of know how to control it.
Yeah. And that was the thing we talked about. I was like, if I let myself cry, I will not be able to get through the vows. So I had to be like,
right.
Well, and that was definitely, for me, because if you remember mine, I would pause and take deep breaths.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to start crying and I'm going to be a mess. And then I'm not going to be able to get through the whole thing. Yeah. We'd be there for 30 minutes and we'd be like,
Literally chat GBTing
oh my God.
the vows.
Fire. I wrote mine.
Yeah.
I mean, it just gave me a blueprint of what to cover. I wrote my own vows.
Yeah, it's just like it outlined it.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know. How much do I talk about when we first met? And how much do I talk about what I actually vowed to? Like,
it's actually kind of comedic how you think it's going to be so easy. You're like, I'll just write my own vows. And then all of a sudden you're going through other people's vows and you're like, is that because what do I say? Like, how much of what do I say? And 9 times out of 10, we would find them being like, wow, David.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm standing here.
What was that girl's TikTok video? It's just like, when we met in the Chili's parking lot and you asked me for my number.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to close it out, we do Dear Dry Diaries, and it's basically just anonymously people submit questions.
Oh.
And then I ask my guests to give their 2 cents.
Okay.
So it's not just myself. And obviously, like, our advice isn't Bible, so if it's really deep, maybe like also get a therapist. But this is just obviously our opinion or what we would say about it. Okay. So quickly, we'll just go through these.
Okay.
Dear Dry Diaries, my boss makes everything a power move, and his constant need to assert domination has made work miserable. I'm thinking of quitting, but I'm nervous about the job market at the moment. What would you do in my shoes? I feel like we've talked about this.
I mean, I've had something similar where it wasn't necessarily a boss, but it was a client, and she's an absolute. And I actually brought it to one of my friends that is also a therapist, and she gave me the advice of don't let her dictate your feelings. Like, she shouldn't have so much power over your feelings. So if there's a way that you can like remove yourself and your emotions from whatever it is that she is projecting, then you should be able to do your job. And that gave me like such a different perspective. Like basically she made fun of her and how the way that she acts, and it just switched everything for me. So now I can't even take her seriously. And if it's your boss, like maybe you can do the same thing. Obviously you're not going to make fun of your boss, but if you can like come at it in a different way, unless it's like that bad, then
and my question is,
the leap of faith.
Is your boss male?
Yeah,
because I think that also is a whole different thing.
It's a power dynamic.
Yeah, I was working a job previously, and it was social media marketing, and I had a boss that was, you know, a little bit, I would say, asserting dominance in certain ways, and it started to affect my mental health, and then also just living in general.
Yeah.
Like just the way that I was operating on a day-to-day basis, it brought so much anxiety, and I wasn't able to even I can't even say that word.
Efficiently?
Oh,
efficiently.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to efficiently complete my work because I was always so stressed, and I'm like, look, like, why am I dealing with this? Like, why am I putting myself through so much and like overextending myself for this person if it's not being reciprocated? So I would say my biggest advice for this would be to start making moves to leave the job that you're in, and maybe like start taking on side work, and then start applying for new jobs, and give yourself a hard deadline. So I gave myself a deadline of like, okay, if I don't get fired by this time, then I'm just going to leave this position, or I'm going to send out 10 resumes a day, or I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to start this new side project. And then when that date came, I was out of the position. So my biggest thing is like, you don't need to stay in that job. If it's affecting you mentally, like, you don't need to stay in it. And Dear Dry Diaries, I found my dream wedding dress that I'm obsessed with, but it's a bit more revealing than what my fiance's conservative family might expect. I don't want them to judge me, but I do want to feel confident and wear what I want. What should I do?
Wear what you want.
Wear
period.
what you want.
Don't let people dictate what you can and cannot wear. That is on them.
Yeah.
Those judgments are their own judgments for themselves. But especially if you're paying for this dress, it's your money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I would say wear what you want.
Yeah, wear what you want.
And if they have something to say, then I would just say respectfully, like, this is my day. And
I remember when I was in the suit shop assembling, because you're picking materials, fabrics, whatever. It was like very backwards from how you did yours, because I had mine built from the ground up. You had a piece that you had tapered around you, like woven around you. They clearly made it for you. Yeah. But it was like you had like a pre-made thing to look at.
There was a thing,
Yeah. And so I remember I was texting you, and I was like, I don't know, I have these ideas, and I kind of wanted to, because I was like, maybe I should be formal, because I let somebody get in my head for a minute about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do skulls and snakes or whatever. And then Carly was like, she's like, who cares? It's our day.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, as long as you feel comfortable and hot in it, like,
shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's like, how are you when you're, soon to be husband? Like, how are you going to feel about it? Because it's just like, it's your day. It's if they don't care, they can
also ask
kiss y'all's asses.
Like, ask him what he thinks, and I'm sure that he'll say you should wear what you feel confident in.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, maybe reconsider.
I was gonna say,
even if you didn't like my dress, I would have been like, well, anyway.
No, well, but that's the part of it that, like, because I don't think she should, if it's a good relationship.
Yeah.
He's gonna no. I know, but if it's a good relationship, he's gonna want her to be happy.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I feel like a good man would, instead of sitting on his qualms and morals of like, well, I believe this and that, it's just like, well, is my wife enjoying it?
Yeah.
Like, especially because, I mean, I feel like we all are like, okay, wedding is a big day. It's a big day. But like, it really is one of the biggest days of your life. It's a massive commitment. It didn't click until I was like there and doing it. So I will remember that day for the rest of my life. And I'm going to be looking at these photos for the rest of my life. So like, I'm gonna do what I want.
Well, and it's like, do you want to look back at the day and really have pictured yourself in that dress and not have photos of you in that dress?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're like, I would have looked hot as fuck, but I went with this other one instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love Phillip.
He is 100 green flags.
Yes, he has so many green flags. I literally told them, I was like, okay, this gives me hope. Maybe I can find someone that's actually
I know.
cool.
Everyone needs a Phillip.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah. Somewhere. Okay. Next question. Dear Dry Diaries, a guy has been DMing me about wanting to see me when I'm in town, but now that I've reached out, he's not putting in any effort into setting something up. Do I make the first move to hang out or just let it go?
Wait, he's not making the first move to reach out to hang out?
They were chatting previously to her coming to town, and now...
Did she come to town for him, or she's just in town?
A guy has been DMing me about wanting to see me when I'm in town, but now that I've reached out, he's not putting in any effort into setting something up. So I guess she came into town and reached out, and now he's not putting in any effort to hang out.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be like, yeah, move on.
Yeah, no, I'd go enjoy whatever part of the town you want to and then dip. Take some really good photos, post them on your
if
Insta.
you like have to bother him to even have that first initial meetup, imagine what you'll have to be bothering him with for the rest of
Oh,
yeah,
God,
my
that's so
question
true.
would be, did you come into town to see this person, just him?
Yeah.
How many plans were made? And then also if you just came in town in general and then he happened to be there and you reached out to him and he hasn't planned something, then
if a man is interested, they will put in the effort. Like that was with Phillip. Like we set up a date, but he was like, cool, I'll see you at this place at this time. And then we had a date and then he was like, cool, when can I see you again? Like he was just so
I had a bullseye on her. I was like, I'm going to make this happen.
I mean, there was our first like kind of casual hangout. I did kind of put it on heavy and was like, are you coming over or not?
Well, you made it clear to me because I still didn't know. We were DMing, we were talking, and we were kind of flirting, but there was still I'm very cautious because I didn't want her to feel like I was trying to intrude or trying to like if she didn't want something, I didn't want to feel like I was dragging her through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I have to beg you to hang out with me, then yeah, you're not worth my time.
No, so she was like, hey, you want to play video games? I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's like the hottest, most attractive thing a guy can do is just be hey, can you go to dinner at this time this day? Okay, cool, see you there.
Yeah.
Or like, I'll pick you up, whatever it is. And then like following up with, I mean, like a couple days later, whatever it is, like, hey, like I want to take you out this day, this time.
Well, and I think the part of that a lot of people miss out on is I think there are a lot of really good men out there. I just feel like those really good men are waiting for the signal. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't until Carly gave me that like, hey, I'm kind of good to go, that I was like, all right, date and time, place and da-da-da. And that gave me room to know that it was okay to be assertive in that way. Right. And remember when we talked to your one friend that one time who she was like kind of making eyes with the dude at the bar, and she was talking about how he was like a really sweet guy, and she was really upset that he didn't like ask her out. But I was like, he probably didn't feel.
There's a happy medium.
I think a guy needs to be assertive until a girl puts up that boundary.
Yeah.
Like I want someone to be like, hey, I want to take you to dinner, meet me here, or we're doing this, and like continue to do that. And like if he wants to hang out, be honest about it. Like, hey, do you want to like go do this or whatever it is? Until I say like, hey, you know, like it was great like getting to know you, hanging out, but I just want to be friends, or I am not interested in you that way. Like, because it also like takes time to build feelings for someone like that. I think
I think the real part, and this could be advice for the guy maybe in this situation, but it's like the real part of being a good guy is being willing to take that risk, but simultaneously also being willing to get the blowback if it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he was like, hey, I want to ask you out. Like, do you want to go on a date? And then if you were just like, I'm sorry, I don't really see it that way, whatever. And then the guy be like, okay, cool. The end.
Yeah.
Like but there's the risk. And I feel like a lot of men are so afraid of rejection that they just kind of in this situation they'll ghost and they don't even follow through because they they don't want to put out the effort to intentionally or to wind up being rejected or shot down. So yeah, their ego gets dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
Unless you're dating like a Scorpio, you'll know if we want to be asked out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a happy balance.
I don't know. This situation that you described is so nebulous without seeing the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if the intention was even set there or the expectation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but then simultaneously, it's just like, you know, I would have need more proof from the guy.
I don't know, if someone, even if I was like dating him for a little bit and he stopped reaching out, then yeah, run.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think if a guy's interested, he's going to be interested and he's going to ask you out. And whether it's depending on where he's asking you to and what he is doing, then you can decide if you want to do it. Like, first time he wants to hang out is like come to his place. I mean,
well, and that's
really
also a big red flag.
Yeah.
Like it's anytime. I don't know.
Oh my God, that happened to me in London. I think I told you guys about
Yes,
it.
you did.
Yes.
I went on a date with it wasn't even a date. I was chatting with a soccer player.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we can go grab a drink or whatever. And I get to the address and it's basically like storefronts and then his place. So I go upstairs and we're chatting and whatever. And then he's like trying to like fully hook up. And I was like, look, I'm calling my Uber. And I called my Uber and I get up to leave. And he's like, wait, you're really leaving? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not looking for that. Like, I'm not looking for a casual hookup. Like, no. And I think it was like really shocking. Like, he acted like kind of surprised. And I was like, what is shocking about this? But I should have left. My problem was when I realized that I was like walking into his place and it kind of seemed I got the vibe.
Yeah, he was clearly laying it out.
Dipped,
yeah.
Instead of like sitting on the couch and having a conversation with him and letting him like try and then saying no and then leave.
I think the thing that comes to
shoulda, woulda, coulda, like it's hard to know. You don't want to think that every man is going to be like that.
Right.
But
yeah. Well, I mean, essentially like even I don't know. It just feels so like baity, like so like to trap, to try and get them there. And I feel like not enough men nowadays are willing to exhibit patience.
That's like the hottest thing a guy could do is have patience and respect boundaries.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something where it's like if a man is truly going after a woman, like truly pursuing her, he's going to be okay taking his time.
Oh my God, even when we started dating, after like 3 months, he was like, can you be my girlfriend again? Like, yeah. Because he asked me like several times and I kept being like, I'm not ready. Like, I literally just
it was a
I'm
few.
not
I don't know
ready.
what's terrible.
And so then finally he was like, can you be my girlfriend? Like,
well, I had the DTR with her. I was like, well, I've loved this. Like we've gone out a ton. And I was like,
you're like, what is this?
I was like, can we lock it in? Can we?
Yeah.
Because I wanted the relationship. I was
like, no.
And now it's forever, and they're married.
Forever. And one thing I will say about dating too is sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't give someone a long enough chance. Like I actually was not sure about him for months, but I was like, I'm having fun, like F it. But for a while I was like, this is just a fling, dee. And then like before I knew it, I was like, oh no, I have fallen in love with him.
Yeah.
And here we are.
You fell for my trap card.
Yeah. So yeah, give him a chance. Or not this
No.
time.
No. That dude can
Yeah.
that dude can go fuck off.
LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
We love you guys. And thanks for listening. You can follow Carly and Phillip. I'll tag their handles and make sure to subscribe, like, follow, do all the things. So, bye.
Is this for the instrument? Alex Dry Diaries.
Wow, perfect.
Love.